So being Christ to people, yes, narrative I've grown up with very much as the missionary type of person.
Mhm,
And then what you're saying is that actually that person, particularly those who are in need, are actually Christ to you.
mhm,
And again, I don't want to take that for granted because that's totally opposite of how we think, and in a way is fundamental to overcoming this messianic complex that we have. That's number one, and that's one thing to diminish that, but it's like also to see it, like and when you're trying to when you see it, because some people like I remember actually early on in Evergreen, like I'm trying to see it because I know theoretically that's supposed to happen, like oh this poor person is Christ, and then I like and I get into relationships with people and it's like oh, I don't. Sometimes it's like I don't know if I see it because there's so much going on, and of course, growing up with like morality as being something very important, and seeing that not as a high precedence sometimes or whatnot, and sometimes actually expressive generosity or whatnot in vulnerable populations as like something amazing to see. But like, is it that we see Christ based on like the virtues that are coming out of it? Or is there something more fundamental than that or deeper like and
mhm,
just
mhm.
thinking about that because I'm trying to imagine someone going through that process and I feel like they're trying to look for something and like what are you looking for in it? Is it should you be looking for something to see Christ or
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a really good question. I think I do get into this a little bit in my thesis because
Mm,
I think when we describe this kind of theology of finding Christ in the poor, and it's been there throughout the whole tradition, but there's a couple of dangers, I would say. One is instrumentalizing people so
oh
that they just become a means for me to have a spiritual encounter with God or something.
yeah.
And the actual fact that they are, malnourished and in desperate need of housing is sort of irrelevant to my spiritual encounter with God.
Spiritual growth.
So that person becomes a means to something for me instead of them being a valuable child of God in and of themselves. So